Yo, what's up guys? Speedster here, and today we're going to jump into all the TBC changes coming in TBC Anniversary and the pre-patch date. So let's get right into it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's do it. First, we're going to break down the date, and that's going to be January 13th. A lot of us anticipated this to come out about mid-December or so, and maybe TBC to come out mid-January, but now we got the pre-patch on January 13th, and then probably TBC release dates in early February. I know some people are disappointed. We wanted to play over the holidays with some time off, but I'm still looking forward to it, and I can't lie, I'm not super surprised, but my guess was the pre-patch to come out in December. It looks like the anniversary PTR is going to open this week, and I might be a little late because we got some more changes coming forward, but I want to break them down piece by piece really quickly in a video and just kind of let you guys know what I think of it and what I'm looking forward to with Burning Crusade. First, it says welcome to the Burning Crusade Classic Anniversary PTR. Okay, first change we got is Heroism and Bloodlust is now raid wide with a 10-minute sated exhaustion debuff. The specific ability and debuff will only reset on a boss kill or a wipe. So this is an interesting one. I thought they were going to do this by group, but they did this by raid. And what I mean by that is I thought each group would get a sated debuff, and that way you still wouldn't be able to swap, but you could pop Bloodlust for each group at different times if you needed to. And now you can't really do that. You just got to pop it, and it's going to reset if you wipe or if you kill the boss. That's a huge W, at least, because sometimes if you wiped on a boss, you had to wait a few minutes when you did recovery for the next attempt and things like that, which kind of sucked for a Bloodlust. And I hope that they would just do this Wrath the Lich King change where they would reset everyone's cooldowns under 5 minutes after each boss kill or wipe, not just Bloodlust, but we'll see. The other next big one is Terracone's respawn rate is increased and additional Terracone nodes have been added. If you guys don't know, Terracone is a really big herb in Burning Crusade. It's for haste potions. It's for a flask of Relentless Assault and Heroic Potion. Haste Potion is the most sought after potion for any physical damage or anything like that, and Flask of Relentless Assault is a really popular flask for physical damage. So this is a really huge W. I would say this is an A+ change. Terracone, I would give the Heroism Bloodlust change about a B+. I think that could do a little bit better, but very solid for sure, because no one wants to swap shamans into only the warlock or the hunter group just to let them pump. You had a lot of complained raiders and just kind of wasn't good for a raid environment, in my opinion. Now the next thing that we have is edit mode as a quality of life option for players users interfaces. Now I've never had edit mode. I've never used LVUI. I've used default WoW for my whole WoW career, and it's worked great for me, but I think this is something that I could see myself exploring because I don't play retail, and you can kind of edit your mini map or your action bars and whatnot to just be in specific spots, just like an add-on would. So I'm pro this change. I want to see what I can do with that. The next one is really big. It's heroic dungeons and raids. So we'll go over both of these really fast. Heroic dungeons is a big one. So every player's first character will be required to become fully attuned, hitting revered rep level. That's how it was before. But upon doing so for each dungeon, players can then purchase a bag which contains a bind on Battle.net account key to send to alts. Alts must reach at least the friendly reputation level to use the key and grant attunement to that character. So for your alts, you have to be friendly rep, but your main just has to get to revered, and you can send an account key bag or something to send to your alt, and that's gonna let them be attuned to the heroics that you have on your main, which is great. That's a huge W change. A lot of people wanted this account-wide attunement because it is a grind, and you're still gonna have to grind for the recipes and the gear at specific reps as well. So the next one is the raid attunements. Raids are going to be every player's first character will be required to become fully attuned for each raid. But upon doing so, that raid will be unlocked for all of your characters on the player's Battle.net account. Holy crap, that's fucking amazing, because all of you know, if you played Burning Crusade before, or if you've never played it, the attunements are long and they're a little painful doing it on your third character and trying to find groups for things. So I think this is a huge W. Hopefully they keep heroics active throughout the expansion somehow without really and raids. I think this is going to be great for alts. It's going to be a really nice change, quality of life. life. People will play more characters. They won't be as hesitant, especially without GDKPs. I think the alt life and raids and stuff, we're gonna be a little nuked a bit compared to before, because last time a lot of people did GDKPs on their alts in TBC. So I'm excited. I think this is a great change. The next one is raids are going to be released in a post-nerf state. If you guys don't know what a post-nerf state is, Burning Crusade had two states of raids. It had a pre-nerf and it had a post-nerf. So basically the pre-nerf state was when the raids first came out in original TBC, and in Classic they did that the same way, but after a little while they changed to post-nerf, or when the next phase came out. So Karazhan has a couple bosses that have a pre-nerf state, like Nightbane and Shade of Iran. Gruul's Lair has a pre-nerf state, and Magtheridon. So they're coming out with everything post-nerf. Now I thought they were just going to do this for tier 5. Serpent Shrine Cavern and Tempest Keep were a painful phase for a lot of people, because people couldn't kill pre-nerf Lady Bosch, and it was just like 2 long raid nights. I do remember my dad guild at the time, we could not clear it for like 2 months, and that was a little bit of a struggle. And I know a lot of good guilds that actually just disbanded during that time because it was just too much of a grind to do things. Now I think a lot of people are complaining about this. I think they should have kept tier 4 as is, and they should have had tier 5 post nerf, in my opinion. But this is our 3rd time doing TBC, and I also think let people have fun. It seems like they're making it more alt and pug friendly, which I don't think is a terrible thing, because these are some great raids and I think everyone should experience them. You know, I got to play this in original Burning Crusade, I got to play this in TBC Classic, and I've done all sorts of different guilds. So if you don't like my opinion, it's all good. Everyone has their own opinion. It's totally fine. I also understand killing like Nightbane and all these iconic bosses in a pre-nerf state. There's something a little different about it. It's a nice challenge. So this is an interesting take, but I think TBC is going to be a little more sped up. So let's break down this other change here. It looks like the next one is going to be arenas. So arenas, the arena change, it says each character's rating is now going to start at 1500 instead of 0. Once per week per character, you can pay gold to reset your rating back to 1500. So this is basically if you are struggling and you have a low rating, maybe with you're playing with some friends and you guys are losing games and they're not the best PvPers in the world, you can go try to reset it once a week and climb with other players or whatnot. This actually happens quite a lot, where you play with someone and you just don't vibe with them, or you're losing a lot, or you have a bad composition, or you're trying to get points, but you want to reset it back at 1500 and maybe play with someone else. I think this is a good change. And it's still a gold sync, but you don't have to buy the arena teams. So that's pretty cool. Let's go over the next one here. It says there are no requirements in order to be able to purchase PvP gear for any pieces except shoulders, which are still 2000 rating, and weapons are going to be 1700 rating now. So weapons will be 1700, and I think that's great, down from 1850, so more people can access the weapons, because 1700 isn't too hard, but kind of separates the average WoW PvPer to the higher echelon of WoW PvPer. So I think that's pretty dope. I do like that because the weapons are BIS for a lot of classes and they're very helpful, and I think that's really good, especially for alts. We want to maintain the prestige of earning some nice looking shoulders or titles for those competing for the top spots, but we'd like to make gearing and participating in PvP more accessible at an entry level. See, there you go. It also says the overall cost of PvP gear has been lowered slightly. So I do think that Burning Crusade is going to be faster this time around. They want people to get gear faster. The seasons will be shorter, I'm sure. So the next thing is the faction reputation PvP gear will now be sold starting with the first arena season. I don't think that came out till later in the game, and you can get that. I think you could get that with honored reputation before. Item set bonuses for each of the faction reputation PvP gear sets have been combined with the honor gear PvP sets. This means that players can get a mix. Okay, that's great. That's a huge change. That's awesome. Maybe you PvP a little bit and you PvE a little bit, and you want to mix and match and go right into arenas and play with your friends. So I do like that. Now this is a big one. It seems like the realm type transfers and feature updates for those classic anniversary players who prefer their characters not to continue to TBC anniversary. Free character transfers from anniversary to classic era will be for a limited time starting November 25th. This option to move classic Annie characters to classic era will close on January 12th. 12th, so right before the pre-patch. After January 12th, players will no longer be able to move their classic anniversary characters to classic era realms. Now before, this is way different because before you could copy your character, I think it was like $10, something like that, and you're able to clone your character, and I didn't do that last time, and I sort of regretted that because I wanted to go back and do the classic raids and PvP once in a while. So I think they might change this. This is probably going to get a lot of backlash, and we'll see what they do. Now it says Anniversary Hardcore Realms. As there are no Burning Crusade Hardcore Realms during the transfer window, players with characters on Anniversary Hardcore will have the option to transfer their characters to normal, non-hardcore Anniversary Realms, so that those characters will continue to TBC Anniversary. You can go from Doomhowl to Dreamside, so normal hardcore to normal PvE realm. Players who do not move their Anniversary Hardcore characters to normal Anniversary realms before January 12th will stay in their current realms, and the transfer destinations available to these characters will change to non-hardcore classic era realm destinations. This means that an Anniversary Hardcore character who meets their untimely end will be able to transfer to a classic era realm and return to the living. Okay, cool. I still like that. They can still go to era from hardcore and whatnot. Pretty dope. They have limited time to go to Anniversary. When making your decision to transfer, please consider that the group finder tool and the dual spec feature will soon be added to classic era. This means that new and existing characters on classic era will have the option to learn dual spec. Okay. At the same time, the rule sets between Anniversary Hardcore and the original hardcore realms will be aligned. This means that the original hardcore realms will receive dual spec instant mail in the dungeon finder tool. I mean, dude, these were W changes. If you're really complaining about that, that's a bad thing. You shouldn't complain about that. That is about all the changes, guys, that we have so far, and that is basically surface level. I want to make another video that is going to talk more about possible new TBC changes. So make sure to like and subscribe on the channel, and catch me live almost every night under Speedster Taxi on Twitch, live very late night. Come hang out with me anytime. Drop a message. It's always good to chat. Yeah, I'm looking to make more and more TBC content, so keep an eye out for that, and I'm very excited for what's to come. All right, you guys have a great one. Peace.